Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we're in another episode of This Week in Warframe. We're talking about the entire weekly reset, and what to expect as a Warframe player this week. This week in Warframe, there's a new anime clip, or like short, coming out on Thursday, and we are on the road to 1999, so let's get right into it. Before we do, make sure you sub this YouTube channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. We're also live on the live stream channel right now, and we're doing these new missions with the chat as well. So come on, stop by if you haven't already. We do grind a lot of Warframe on this channel. So starting off your first weekly reset item at Teshin, you've got 3 Forma for 75 Steel Essence. Now, as far as, getting a bunch of Forma for the new Infested Lich weapons, they'll be coming out probably February or March. You're going to need a lot of Forma to max them all out, so this could be an easy way to get a couple Forma, but usually trading for Plat is an easier way to get these, but nonetheless, 75 Steel Essence for 3 built Forma, no waiting required. So yeah, there's an anime short for Warframe 1999 coming out on Thursday, which is going to be involving some lore stuff of 1999, so DE kind of already spoiled the quest a little bit in that dev stream, so be careful if you watch that dev stream and frame by frame it, because there is kind of some spoilers there. But yeah, I'm still excited for the quest and all that kind of stuff, even if there were some, I wouldn't even call it a leak. It's like it was literally on their dev stream telling us about the lore and the story, more than I had already known by quite a bit, so yeah. But just what you got to farm this week, because that's not going to... The release date for 1999 is not going to be announced for another 2 weeks, so just keep that in mind. But some other good stuff here. We got a Archon Catalyst Blueprint for 20 Pathos Clamps. So a relatively easy way to get a free Archon Catalyst. This is good on weapons. So you can put this on weapons to double their capacity. So the reason I recommend this over Nightwave creds is because you can farm infinite Pathos Clamps. You can't farm infinite Nightwave creds. So even if you can get these from Nightwave, it's usually not the best value. Versus just buying them from here for doing 2 missions basically. So grab that if you want to. If you're entirely free-to-play player, it could be a great way to get that. But beyond that, we've got an Exodus Weapon Adapter for 20 Pathos, 5k Kuva, a Forma Blueprint, and an Exodus Warframe Adapter. So both Exodus adapters right there. But yeah, pretty decent item for this vendor to have. But for a lot of us, actual players that trade and stuff like that, 20 plat is chump change basically. But yeah, moving on to the EDA and the Archon Hunt and all the other stuff, these are the places you'll be getting Archon shards for your frames. Now, with the new face-off mode coming in Warframe 1999, it's like PvP, kind of. It's not very PvP, it's like a PvE race, and whoever beats the mission faster is the winner, so that's how it's PvP. And you can also set debuffs to the enemy team. But yeah, for those missions where PvP is kind of in there, every buff will matter. So getting a bunch of crazy Archon shards and stuff like that could be great if you want to be winning constantly in the new game mode. But yeah, for right now, let's just see what we have on this week for the EDA. Alright, so the first mission is Alchemy, second mission Survival, and third mission Mere Defense. These mission types are some of the stinkers for sure. We've got both Alchemy and Mere Defense today, the ones that a lot of people don't like. And actually, the Mere Defense is the final mission too. So if you fail this Mere Defense, back to the beginning. So be really, really careful on that one. We'll definitely give some good strategies for that final mission. Alright, for your first mission, Alchemy, your modifiers will be Eximus Amphors. Eximus units always drop the Amphors, like those elemental grenades basically. But they are the only units that drop them. So you will not get grenades from anything but Eximus. So that's a very annoying modifier. Makes the mission take a lot longer, honestly. So be aware of that this is probably going to be a bit of a slog of an EDA this week. And you might want to skip it. If you don't like to do annoying missions, this might be a skip already from just looking at this stuff. Second modifier, Entanglement. Allies within 4 meters of a slight enemy have reduced movement speed and parkour velocity. So if you die near an enemy, 4 meters of an enemy, you will be slowed down quite a bit, which is not going to matter at all, because this is just basically a waiting out the clock kind of mission, waiting for the Eximus to spawn, basically. And for the final modifier, this is only in the EDA Elite version, Hostile Regeneration. Enemies will slowly regenerate their health. So, yeah. This is a super easy mission, but an annoying mission, because it's going to be so annoying to wait around for the enemies to spawn. Second mission, Survival. First modifier, Hostile Support. The life support system is disabled, necromechs spawn every 90 seconds, and drop 6 life support modules when killed. So they are your main source of life support. So if you're pushing the button to summon the mech every, a couple of minutes, and you're getting these mechs, it will be a bunch of mechs to kill. Just be aware of that. that you're going to be hopefully good against mechs in this mission with whatever gear you end up getting. Moving on, post-mortal surges. Slate enemies explode in void energy. Those are pretty hard-hitting explosions. And it's also survival too, so there's lots of enemies that you'll be killing. So lots of void explosions everywhere whenever you kill something, so just be aware of that. Stay a little bit back. Or if you're playing melee, make sure you jump out of the way before they explode, because that could be potentially deadly to you. And for the final modifier of the EDA, Bold Venture. Enemies deal less damage and take increased damage, but also gain increased movement speed, attack speed, and fire rate. It's basically a non-modifier, so pretty much free on that front. So not too bad of a survival. Let's hope the mirror defense is not awful. Okay, for mirror defense, you've got Barbed Glyphs as your first modifier. Each glyph inflicts a small amount of damage when collected. So the glyphs aren't required, but they are good to make it so you don't fail this mission. So take a little chunk of damage here and there. Hopefully you got someone like, Wisp or somebody to heal you, or maybe Dante's Overguard to heal you so you're not getting destroyed by picking up the glyphs. Either way, you don't pick up that many glyphs in the mission anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Second modifier, Devil's Bargain. Allies within 4 meters of a slight enemy gain increased fire rate and lose 50% ammo efficiency. So you basically waste your ammo really fast with your nearby enemy. It's another non-modifier. Some of these modifiers don't even they're not even noticeable unless you read them out loud and try to memorize them. Because I'll tell you, when you're in this mission playing through it, you're not going to notice Devil's Bargain at all. So pretty much free right there. And the final modifier, this is an easy mirror defense, Alluring Archonids. As rogue Archonids charge their attacks, they will pull Warframes towards them. That's basically the dog robots. They'll pull you in as they're charging the attack. So a very easy modifier, at least for the mirror defense. Just, it's going to have higher level enemies because it's the final mission. So just be really, really careful. As far as your personal modifiers, you can turn these on or off. You got Untreatable. Pickups do not heal, and health orbs cannot be picked up. Okay, so that with Barbed Glyphs might be a little bit annoying. So yeah, hopefully you got a Wisp. Hopefully you got someone that can heal you, like a Spectre or something. Looks like there's no gear embargo this week, so yeah, Spectres could work to heal you in a way. Knife Step Syndrome. Lose 2 health while moving. Jumping pauses the effect. Okay, so you're constantly draining health, and you're having a hard time healing. So that can be a pretty evil combo. And another evil modifier here, Powerless. All abilities are disabled until the squad kills 50 enemies. Since there is no gear lockout, no gear embargo this week, you can use your Spectres to get 50 kills really easily if you are a frame that basically entirely relies on abilities, like Titania, for example. So yeah, that one's going to be kind of annoying on mirror defense because there's not even 50 enemies spawned at the beginning, so yeah, pretty rough on that front. But yeah, really use your Spectres, guys. And Ammo Deficit. Ammo restores by drops and gear is reduced by 75%. So I was just trash talking Devil's Bargain here. But you're going to be having less ammo efficiency, and you're going to have less overall ammo from drops. So maybe there might be an ammo problem in the final mission, but either way, if you use your Spectres, you should be fine to cast your abilities. And it's just a pretty long, annoying EDA this week. Feel free to skip it if you don't want to go through a potential slog of a mission. All right, moving on to Bird 3 over here. Bird 3's weekly shard is going to be a red Archon shard, and these are going to be able to be turned into purple shards, which should be very good for some of the missions in 1999. Additionally, red shards is good in general to give you things like power, strength, and duration. But yeah, a pretty easy EDA, just a long, annoying EDA, which might be worse than it being hard to some players. Okay, moving on to the Archon hunt. Let's see what we have for the Archon hunt this week. Alright, so we got the Snake Archon. Ooh, the Sampotes is a damage buff for me. I just got a Sampotes driven yesterday. But yeah, the Snake Archon giving a yellow Archon shard. And the mission types are going to be Mobile Defense, Disruption, and the final boss show. So another pretty long weekly mission here. You've got Mobile Defense, which takes about 6-7 minutes. Disruption, which takes who knows how long, because it's like 8 conduits, and the final boss is always the same. So yeah, a little bit annoying side for this one too, but either way, it's still going to be hopefully pretty fun to play through. For Duviri, let's see what we have for Duviri as far as our rotating frames. Okay, so we've got Chroma, Mesa, and Atlas for your farmable frames from here. So as far as which one I'd recommend to you, getting the parts for Mesa is a little bit annoying because it comes from the Infested Alad boss fight on Eris, and I believe you still need to have an Infested Alad key to get those parts. Mesa's Helminth ability is Shooting Gallery, which can be pretty decent for utility and some damage. For Chroma, I believe Chroma's dupes come from Cephalon Somaris Reputation, so that can be very annoying to obtain. So this might be a better choice than Mesa, even though Mesa's a little bit annoying to obtain as well. Chroma's Helminth ability is Elemental Ward, which can do a variety of things, depending on what type of energy color you have equipped on your frame. And for Atlas, Atlas comes from a Railjack, or not Railjack, a Archwing boss fight on Eris, and their Helminth ability is Petrify, which can basically freeze enemies turn them into stone, basically. Now, as far as which one's the most annoying to get a dupe of, or to get in the first place, it's probably going to be Chroma, honestly, because Chroma does come from that Cephalon Solaris rep. But keep on, when you do get Chroma, which I'm going to probably recommend this week, you do need to actually have some weird frame parts to build him. For example, right here, Saren Systems to build the Chroma systems, Frost Chassis to build the Chroma chassis, and Ember Neuroptics to build the Chroma Neuroptics. So if you do pick this frame for your option this week, you're going to have to go farm some weird places afterwards, like Sedna, I think, what is it, Ceres for this one, and then Saturn. So Saturn, Ceres, and Sedna to farm the parts for your Chroma if you do go down this route. But either way, guys, hopefully you have some fun farming whatever one you choose. I'd say Mesa is probably a pretty close second place on those selections. Okay, so here we are with the new Incarnons. If you haven't played in a while, these are air quotes, new Incarnons. They came out about 2 months ago. And if you don't get them right now, don't worry, because you have access to buying these Incarnons for Platinum from Cavallero at any time. Just like the Boar Incarnon, the Gorgon Incarnon, etc., etc., sub-Incarnons are purchasable for Platinum whenever you want to. And these ones you're looking at right now are on that list. So 120 Platinum each. You can go to the Zeramon to just buy these instead if you prefer to not farm them out. And that will come with the Pathos clamps as well. But yeah, also if you've been playing a while, you could pick things like Kuva or Rivens instead of these Incarnates if you prefer that. But yeah, we're going to go over all of these, and we do have an order of like power level, basically. We did vote on it on stream as well to make sure that everyone's agreeing here. So we've got the Dara Incarnon, the Sestra Incarnon, the Okina Incarnon, the Sabaris Incarnon, and the Sikaris Incarnon. Going over what all of these do and which ones I'd recommend to you in order, we first got the Dara Incarnon here. This thing is going to have a magnetic beam. It's more like a magnetic explosion shot on Incarnon form. So that is going to be something to keep in mind. That it's not really that crazy. It's not a beam. It's just like a single shot. It's a full auto single shot, very slow firing mode for the Incarnon form. That being said, if you mod this thing for Blast, that single shot big laser beam can explode enemies and make them have some amount of AoE. The best Incarnon perks on this thing are going to be Death Trap Trigger or High Ground. High Ground actually could give this thing crazy hybrid stats, which is going to make your base crit chance be increased by your status chance. Yeah, you basically mod for status and it increases your crit. So you can get lots of red crits on this thing if you mod it properly. Additionally, some of the other perks of this thing are pretty good too. You got Crimson Overture giving you ammo efficiency on kill, or Paragon Essence giving you fire rate on status effects. So you get built-in fire rate or built-in ammo efficiency. I usually use the ammo efficiency one just to let you fire the primary shot for longer. But yeah, a very good auto rifle, but it is going to be a lower recommendation this week compared to some of the other weapons because the other ones are, in my opinion, just a little bit stronger. But yeah, this thing is definitely really good, and if you like this kind of weapon, how it looks and stuff like that, it is not a bad choice at all. But a lower recommendation this week compared to some of the other ones. For the Sestra Incarnate, this will be the lowest tier recommendation this week. It is a very boring Incarnate. I'm not going to say it's a bad Incarnate. It's got good damage. It's a boring Incarnate. What do you think when you are thinking about Incarnons in Warframe? Oh man, the normal shot is so boring, and then you go to Incarnon form and it goes crazy, like Fireball Launcher and all that stuff. The Sestra Incarnon is virtually the same exact firing mode in the Incarnon form, but it gets a weird special ability where it will get increased crit chance on uninterrupted fire. So if you fire 100 bullets, I think it is, you get increased crit chance by 100% in the Incarnon form. So it does nothing that crazy until you fire a bunch of bullets. So keep that in mind. It is the lowest recommendation this week because of how overly specific it is and how unexciting it also is. So if you do want to go for this, it can get the job done, of course. We got things like Death Trap Trigger giving increased base crit damage. We've got perks like Survivor's Edge giving increased crit chance. And for some of the other perks, this one's pretty good. Steadfast Grit. On shield or overguard break, times 3 crit damage for 6 seconds. So that's pretty decent. And also Fortress Salvo. When you have over 450 armor, you get 80% built-in multi-shot. These are strong perks. It's just a very boring Incarnon in the grand scheme of things, especially when you have some of these other options available, like the Sabaris and the Okina. But yeah, a pretty decent pistol, because the Sestra has always been really bad. So yeah, If you want to be different and try something that not everybody's using, maybe give it a shot, but I wouldn't really overly recommend it. Talking about overly recommend, we got the Okina Incarnon here, the only melee Incarnon available this week. And it's a good one, too, because the Okina Incarnon is one of the best melee Incarnons in the game. As far as what this one does, once you get to a 6x multiplier, do a heavy attack, you'll enter Incarnon form, where on kill, you'll generate a Spectral Dagger. That Spectral Dagger is going to freeze enemies solid with maximum cold procs when it hits an enemy. Additionally, the way you mod your weapon will actually also influence the daggers to make them do different elements as well. So, really, really strong stuff there. It can be great with melee influence, it can be great with melee exposure, it could just be good in general. And also, additionally, the Okina Prime and Okina Normal are both considerations on this one. I usually recommend people use the Okina Prime, but I also have the Okina Normal, and the ribbon stats on the Okina Normal are massively increased compared to the Okina Prime. So, basically, the range on my range ribbon for the Okina Normal is like double the range of the Okina Prime. So there's times where it can be better. There's also times where it's like, well, I don't really only use ribbons. The Okina Prime is just definitely better without a ribbon. But yeah, as far as some of these perks on here, you got crazy good ones like Synergist Surety. On crit hit, increased status damage stacked up to 5 times. So it's got like a built-in melee elementalist, which is really good. But the other perk is good too, Seeing Red. 5 additional combo on targets affected by slash. You can get crazy 12x like near instantly with this thing if you build it right. And for the top tier Incarnon perks on here, you've got increasing base status chance by 60% and giving status duration, or you've got hybrid stats or full crit. So yeah, I'd recommend normally the Okina Prime on here, but if you have a really good ribbon, maybe try the Okina Normal. A very, very strong weapon. I forgot to mention too, it's also a mobility stat stick. It gives 30% movement speed while you have it equipped. Or actually, while you have it equipped on your person. So, in order to have it out, it has to be equipped. And additionally, just like most Incarnons, you get parkour, velocity, and sprint speed with an Incarnon form. That being said, I still think the Praetos is more useful because it doesn't require Incarnon form. But if you do have this thing in Incarnon form, it can be pretty powerful because it's got movement speed and parkour. This will probably be the number 1 recommendation, spoiler alert. Number 2 recommendation, Cerberus Incarnon. This thing is a pretty strong primary, and you can use either the Dex Cerberus or the Cerberus Prime. I recommend the Dex Cerberus personally, but the Cerberus Prime is also quite good. We'll talk about the differences in stats as well. So the Incarnon form on the Cerberus is going to be, after you get some headshots, you can actually get forced blast procs in a 4-round burst. And when you get 10 blast procs, enemies detonate for a big damage explosion. So, since it has forced blast proc, that's also got multi-shot too. So a multi-shot mod can make you get lots and lots of blast procs to get lots and lots of explosions. That being said, some of these perks are very strong, like Blazing Barrel, giving increased multi-shot after firing, stacking up to 5 times. You get 50% multi-shot from this perk. Top tier perks give you things like crit chance or status chance, but I recommend the crit chance one on here. Now, the difference between the Dex Cerberus and the Cerberus Prime is to come down to ribbon stat differences and recoil differences. The Dex Cerberus has less terrible recoil than the Cerberus Prime, but it has less status chance and a little bit higher crit, and higher ribbons too. Cerberus Prime has better base damage and better status chance, but it has a little bit lesser ribbons and a little bit lesser crit too. And it has worse recoil, as I stated. So, Dex Cerberus, I'd recommend, but Cerberus, I have it on both of them, and they're both really, really good. We compared them before the stream, or before the video, and yeah, I like Dex Cerberus more, but nothing wrong with Cerberus Prime at all. It's also available in the Prime Resurgence right now. And for the final Incarnon here, we got the Sicarus Incarnon. Now, this thing was technically bugged when it came out. It was doing like 2 million damage with like no mods, basically. When it came out, they patched it. It's doing more normal damage now, but it still hits really, really hard if you are willing to aim with this thing. It requires a lot of precision, honestly, to get this thing going. It's a burst fire pistol. Now, the Incarnon form is going to give ricochet. Think of like the dual Toxicist, basically. It's just like a worse dual Toxicist, basically. And that being said, it is going to be... Some of these perks on here require a lot of headshots. So we're looking at the perks we got on here. King's Gambit increases your crit chance on headshots, but it gives you 0 crit chance on body shots. And when it says 0 times 0, you are literally getting non-crits on body shots. So be really aware of that when you're picking these perks. Feigned Retreat will work on body shots as well. But yeah, if you go King's Gambit, it's more damage technically, because on weak point hit you get increased crit, but you get nothing at all. You actually become weaker on body shot. So that's a big downside of King's Gambit. So the top tier perks though, Commodore's Fortune giving you a bunch of crit chance, or Wise Man's Regard giving you increased status chance increasing by your base crit chance. So that could be pretty good. You can get red crits on this thing with no crit chance ribbon, which is kind of nice. So now that we talk about all these, what are the best Incarnons in order, okay? So I want to go ahead and tell you the number 1 through 5 in order, okay? Number 1 Incarnon choice this week, Okina Incarnon. It is a very good melee Incarnon. It's a mobility stat stick, and it's just strong in general. So if you don't have this already, you might want to get it. Number 2, Cerberus Incarnon. Very, very strong blast primary. It also, since it has forced blast, you don't have to mod it for blast. So you could do like viral blast, gas blast. Combinations that are not normally available, you could do on this thing, and they get very, very effective. For number 3, Sicarus Incarnon. It was a toss between the Dara and the Sicarus on this one, but the Sicarus is still very, very strong in high-level missions, so I'd recommend that you give it a shot if you basically don't have any pistols you want to use already. I recommend the Dual Toxist over this, but the Dual Toxist is not available this week. It's available in 6 weeks, so yeah. Great pistol for high levels, but does require a lot of aiming. Number 4, Dara Incarnon. Very strong primary, but we did end up deciding that the Sicarus is a little bit stronger than the Dara, although the Dara is very, very good. And the final Incarnon is a Sestra. It's just not very exciting at all. It's got the fire mode is basically the same exact thing between the primary and Incarnon shot, and by the time you're firing 100 bullets, the enemies should already be dead anyway, so it's like, what are you firing over 100 bullets at in Warframe in the first place? So, yeah, hope you guys found that helpful. These Incarnons are, again, always purchasable for Platinum. But if you don't get them this week, they will not be back for another 2 months to farm. You can buy them whenever you want them. For your Nightwave stuff here, we got our Nightwave challenges. Now, there's no word on the next Nightwave season. I'm going to guess it's going to be March or February of next year. But yeah, no rush on doing these if you haven't done them already. Challenges, though, we got Assassination, kill 3 assassin missions. So basically, kill the Sergeant 3 times. Loyalty, gain 5,000 standing across all syndicate factions, easy mode. Just basically play the game for 2 minutes. First, Elite Weekly, Rise of the Machines. Kill 300 enemies with a Necromech without it getting destroyed. So, Isolation Vaults, Conjunction Survival, what's it called? Railjack, Empyrean Survival or whatever against the Corpus. Any place there's enough enemies to kill with your Necromech, just use the Void Rig with its second ability, like a mini Iron Skin, and just go ham. And then your final Elite Weekly, unlock 10 Relics. Pretty straightforward on that one. In your permanent weeklies, kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 enemies. Very, very straightforward stuff there. Let's see what our credit offering store has this week. Got your evergreen stuff at the top as per usual. Got some helmets here if you like any of these. Dual Carry Solstice skin looks pretty cool. A Tomo Solstice skin as well. Fulman Solstice skin. You got a Dante helmet this week. That's kind of nice. Got a Dante helmet. I actually use this Dante helmet all the time, so a very nice option right there. And easy enough to build. Got a lot of aura mods. We've got Rejuvenation, Rifle Amp, Energy Siphon, Sniper Scavenger, EMP Aura, and Physique. Now, we might have a lot of aura mods, but we don't have very good aura mods, unfortunately. I'd recommend if any of these, maybe get Energy Siphon. Maybe. These are not really meta ones at all, so maybe just skip the aura mods this week. Ooh, the Ceramic Dagger is here. That's at least a nice little thing. Here you got Wolf Beacons and Ceramic Dagger. Also, a Glaive Normal Blueprint. And as far as your Conclave augment mods, you got Ambush Optics for Rubico, Rumbled for Atlas, Recharge Barrier for Volt, and Double Tap for the Latron. So yeah, Ceramic Dagger is here, and this is the only place in the game to get this weapon, by the way, guys. So if you want to get the Ceramic Dagger Incarnon, or maybe you already have the Ceramic Dagger Incarnon, get this weapon blueprint so you can actually use that thing. And in my upcoming Saren video, I might be using the Ceramic Dagger Incarnon in the video, just a heads up. That's going to be basically your weekly reset. Not a ton of stuff going on in Warframe this week. We're waiting for the Game Awards to announce the dev stream release. But yeah, until then, just farm it up, have some fun, and hopefully the updates will be really good. Before we call it, let's look at these invigorations that are random per week per player. And if you want to unlock this stuff, you can get it from Deimos to get this stuff available on a weekly basis. All right, so let's see what we have here. So first one, we got Chroma. Ooh, Chroma with ability range and ability efficiency. I'm not going to say that range is that good on Chroma, but I'll take it. Those are both ability stats, so that's pretty decent on Chroma at least. For Banshee, we've got primary damage and sprint speed. Not exactly the most useful for Banshee, but still better than, armor, I guess. And our final modifiers for Hydroid, we get melee damage and jump resets. Not exactly jumping 5 times, look at jump 5 times in a row with Hydroid, or use melee that much with him, so a pretty bad one for Hydroid. Not the best invigorations this week, but either way, hope you guys found this video fun and helpful. Hopefully you found the in-depth explanation of those Incarnons suitable for your farming needs, and I will see you very soon. Hopefully you had a great time watching the dev stream, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Peace!